Yep, I did. So hopefully this is better. How are the levels? Good, good, good. Now the question is, why can't I hear sound from you?
rest.
There we go. I've got 2 instances of TwitchBot running, but it'll work for now.
Welcome Reesinger TD.
Closing parenthesis.
Welcome Streamlabs.
Yeah, we'll get started in just a couple more minutes. I'm going to be doing a bunch of castle building today.
Welcome Expatiation.
Alright, 10-minute mark. I think it's time to go ahead and get started. I'll find my music and turn it down just a little bit because it's currently really loud. for me. I don't know how it is for you guys. Just a little bit. But hopefully you should be able to just barely hear the music in the background, and you should be able to hear me really clearly. If I hit that, then we're good to go. Alright. So I've been working on a bunch of stuff around Procedural World's new kit for Sinti castles. You can see I'm kind of mid-progress in replacing the Sinti bits with Astrofish HD pit. We can get generated Astrofish castles. I don't know how much further I'm going to go on this with at least the castle generation part. I think I'm deciding I probably need to start from scratch for those. The dimensions are just a little too different for them to really work well with just in-place swapping. And not only that, the pieces that Astrofish has don't align with necessarily the pieces that Sinti has. So I think one of my biggest takeaways from this kit is learning how I can set this stuff up and build my own. So I think today we're probably going to end up spending this first hour or so before we start doing the big build, just setting up some Gaia or some Gena spawners that are specifically Astrofish that I want to reuse. Because the other thing with these castle pieces, they're really great for up on the top of a hill, kind of out in the distance type thing. But if you have a castle that you want to really explore and walk around on, it's better to build it from scratch by hand. So that said, Astrofish pieces really heavy on the performance and not great for distance kind of back end stuff. So I think how I do that will end up getting tweaked quite a bit. If it's a castle you're not going to approach closely, I'll probably build that up with imposters and then have a random chooser spawner pick from a few different castles. Another thing I've noticed with this Fast Fantasy Castle pack is after 4 or 5 combinations, you don't really notice the difference very much. And so if it's not a castle that's going to be close up and explored, then I don't really need more than just a handful of castle styles, at least at a distance. So, kind of the learnings so far from this kit. I did manage to do 1-to-1 replacements on all of the market pieces, and they look fantastic. So, I used this is actually Kitbash 3D's market. It fits in really well with Astrofish's style. The roads here are Astrofish, fences Astrofish, but the shops and tents and whatnot are part of that kit. I originally swore off Kitbash 3D's kits entirely. I really did not have a good first experience with them, but this particular kit, I like it. It's well built. This tent's from another kit that I posted on one of the Astrofish's channels recently for a camping kit. And I also think it fits in really well. So I'm kind of supplementing some of these things with various other kits too. And pull up that list for you. So here's what we're using in this particular build. We've got Camp 2. Like I said, this is that medieval props before camp and tents kit. It's working out really well. We've got both of the Astrofish Castle kits in here. Fantasy Kingdom Spawner Pack. Gena and Gaia. So, got a few things in here. Fortunately, this time we don't have to wait on me to do imports because I'm not planning on importing anything additional. So, Alright, I said we were going to start out. This is just kind of a test scene to kind of put pieces together and make things happen. So, one thing I do want to get done in this first prep hour or two is get some houses built for the Gena spawners. So, I'm going to go find those.
You have some strange static when talking.
I wonder if it's because I've got the noise. I mean, I'm peaking pretty badly too. Let me see. I think I turned up the volume for a game we were playing. If I can find the right knob. How's that? Any better? Test, test, test. Wrong way. How's that? Can you still hear me pretty well? I've got it turned down quite a bit more. That might reduce the static.
Same as before.
How about now? I wonder if it's coming from the desktop audio channel and not the mic channel. Yeah, I wonder if you're hearing my fan. Maybe I'll turn that off. See if that's any better. Alright, fan is now off.
Nope. Not the fan.
Let me turn, maybe if I turn the mic down a little bit. How about now? Any better? Can you still hear me? Test, 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 test. Volume, volume level. I want to get my wife or somebody on with me live without the delay to really go in and tweak these audio settings till I get them just right.
It doesn't go. I just hear you less. Never mind then.
Okay. Well, here we go. What this should be back to about where it was. Potentially. Turn that down just a hair. Nope, wrong way. Test, test. A little more. There. Alright. I think that's where I'll leave it for now. Yeah, I don't think it's the mic. I don't have any noise I'm aware of from there. But yeah, I'll try and get someone together live and work on this issue and get rid of it for next time. Alright, so I've been working on a couple of tools to kind of make building a little easier. And what you're seeing there is it's kind of one of them. So I've been working on this basically slots tool where I can go and I can come in here and I can say, let's see, square wall. I can grab this and now I can snap in square walls in places where I think they should go. So it just kind of snaps right into it. It's got a couple ways of detecting there. There's a grid base, and then I can do a static analysis of kind of the scene. And I can basically select a bunch of objects and say, hit a hotkey. So let's say we saw here the snap is a little too high. So I want to grab this and I want to train it to do the right thing. So I'm going to take this wall, set it up here, and then link that with Control L. Now I should be able to select this, and there's a snap in place where I could snap the wall directly above. And so it's kind of a way of there's some manual process here, of course, where I'm basically setting up the template, but it's setting up positions for things that I can reuse. And so if I want to quickly build...
Welcome, Wizards Don't Code.
Hey, Wizards. So if I want to quickly build a wall, I can just go like this. Click, 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 click. And everything... And I've just got these positions set up so I can put it exactly where I want it to go, or exactly where it should go. So that was to fix an annoyance I had with some other stuff recently. That wall's supposed to jump in as well and animate. Working. I was looking at that
Did
earlier.
you like the Fantasy Kingdom spawner asset in the end? It's looking like you have changed your approach.
Yes. So I bought that one for a very specific project. I bought it for my Cinti style Castle Defender game for building out levels and scenery around kind of the focus points. So for that, it's perfect. After I really dug into the pack, they did a lot of work on it. It looks simple from the outside, but when you actually get into what they did with it, they did a lot of work. And even just trying to swap that out, like I spent the last week or so, well, I spent most of the week building this tool because I got annoyed with the other part. But I, as an experiment, I wanted to see what it would take to upgrade that to Astrofish HD. And there's just a lot of pieces to it, and there are a lot of moving parts. And so it's a pretty good tool. It's not as easy to upgrade as I was hoping. It's not bad, but it's going to take time, and that's really what you're getting with that kit. Is you're getting your time, the time it took them to build, and you'll see that in a couple minutes when we start trying to upgrade one of the houses. The time it took them to build the original stuff, especially, it had to take forever. It's just there's a lot of stuff in there. So your buying time. Yeah, I was working on the wall modules of it, and I got really irritated at trying to get my walls to snap into place. So I built this tool. So this is a prefab tool. It specifically finds prefabs and only prefabs. Gives you a nice preview. So it's kind of like the project view, but I can do searches in it. So like I said, I searched for square wall. If I search for wall and I go look under all matches, oops, not all matches. I look under assets. The way the search works is it filters your assets. So it finds all assets that have all prefabs that have the word wall in it, and it keeps them in their hierarchies. So when you have things like roof walls and platform support prefabs and all that, you still have the base hierarchy that the asset dev originally provided. Instead of, if I search for wall over here, it's just this giant collection. So if anything's named similarly and for multiple packs, it's really hard to tell what's from where and kind of do that organization. So this allows you to have the organization in addition to search features. And it ties into this whole snapping system that I built. All right. So we were going to go find the house. You guys can't hear my fan. I'm turning it back on.
So you didn't find Unity's snapping good enough?
Unity snapping, I use it in addition to. So one thing, let's say I wanted a specific wall. I guess this is something I haven't really shown yet. So I've got these snaps turned on, and if I was using just Unity snapping, I would press Control D, I'd drag this over, and I would snap it into place. That's easy enough, right? And so I still do that all the time. It's not a replacement for, it's a tool to use in addition to. But let's say I don't want to use the wall that I already have in the scene. I want to do another square wall. Let's say I want one with a door, or maybe this one. So I click where I want it to go. I select which prefab I want to go in the spot, and then I just drop it in. And some of these, it's clearly a bug with the meshes. But as you see, I'm just going in here and I'm grabbing, it's like 2 clicks and I'm in position. So I can really quickly just place the prefab I want in the spot I want it to go in without having to go find it in various places in the scene. So there are some issues like with this kit where there's this little bit of offset here. So in my tool here, I can modify how that, I can create a link for this, and then I can set an offset that I expect it to use. It'll fix this little bit of misplacement. But anyway, that's the goal.
So you are saving yourself that first time drop?
Yeah, first time library browsing drop. Like even this, I can have it snap it roughly into place and then have the corners roughly where I need them to, and then I can do a quick vertex snap. So it's, we'll see. I haven't decided it's worth the performance hits that might be caused by it. But it's definitely been nice so far. So I haven't really used it to build yet. And like there's some things with it that are really annoying too. It's like I gotta decide when the right time to show this stuff is, because right now all of the slots for this are full. So I've got to write some code to go in and say, hey, if a slot's full, do I really want to show it here? So let's see. Another example of usefulness, and it'll get more useful for this too, is for prefabs that I've said, okay, well, this prefab is a sibling of this prefab, and then I can hit link on these, and now they know about their placement relative to each other. I'm also going to have a menu of all of the prefabs that I've specifically snapped to this type of prefab in the past. So I have a quick reference of, okay, well, all of my windows, all of my doors, anything that fits well against the wall will be in like a short list that you can select from. So it'll also help with selection and finding, digging through large collections of prefabs in a quick way without having to do a whole bunch of searching. So that's where that is. It's got about 3 nights worth of work on it so far, so it's really rough around the edges. Yeah. But it's definitely been interesting to build. All right, house. We're gonna build a house. Net castles, house templates. So these are the prefabs that are used in Fantasy Kingdom. And so what I've been trying to do with these is replace the individual pieces. So you'll see here what they're calling the front yard, they're calling it a patio. And so when you're generating a dynamic house, it randomly chooses from this collection of patio furniture and layouts, and then spawns it. So my goal has been to do kind of a one-one replacement, but the problem I've run into is the dimensions are not the same at all. So like here in Cinti, you'll notice these areas are all square. I think it's 3 by 3 meters. On Astrophis, it's 4 by 4.5. So there's no exact perfect drop in that I can do. So your results for doing kind of that stand in are going to vary. You have their various floors. So I'm going to start find my floors. And we don't want castle floors. We want house floors. And even here, I mean, that's not exactly what we want either. These are foundations, which will be awesome. So maybe we just speed this up. Let's just build some spawners from scratch, I think. Because Astrophis has some of these kind of set up in a way that'll work.
Did F Impossible Creations show the grid general asset the other day on Messi?
I'm not sure if he did. I missed a huge chunk of that stream. I've got it. I just haven't got a chance to play with it yet. I've been doing too much with this stuff. So let's start out. Okay. We're going to build using these kind of pre-configured pieces. Some spawners, similar to how they built them in the castle kit. We're going to create a folder. Astrofish. Discard the changes here. All right. So we've got this nice little base. I'll rotate the lighting a little bit so we can see what we're doing. Looks like the fronts are all on this side. There's my light. This. Alright, so we've got this Astrofish medieval building masonry lower 2. Then he's got a set of these grooves. This we're listening to the music that it just switched to is entitled "Playing with Bubble Wrap." Enough of that. So he has a whole set of 2x2s that should fit over this house. What I'm going to do here is I'm going to create a snap point for this, so I should theoretically be able to drop in any 2x2 over it and it will be flat. But we got to get it the first one position where we want it to go first. After my stream. And I gotta turn off these box colliders, they're really distracting. Maybe not box colliders, maybe they're mesh. Yes. So we gotta figure out just how to position this on the roof of or on the building. That's probably good. About one more notch back. Too much. Go with this. Alright, so now I'm going to take this and I'm going to select this. Move this out there first. And I'm going to hit Control L and I'm going to link these. So now, if I delete this guy, go back and select this one, should be able to select the roof. And drop it into place. Now the mesh here is messed up. It's really messed up. I don't know what's going on with that. But I can select this one. Oops. Clicked on the wrong mesh. As long as I can find the right collider. Snap into place. Oh yeah, definitely a work in progress. So, do a quick fix on my snaps. That'll add a little button here that we can check. That'll turn off that grid snapping. It'll only have the linked snap, which is what we want in this case. We probably also want to be able to turn off the mesh. We use a simple bounding box for more complicated meshes too. It's easier to place. I'm gonna come back and clean this up. Oh, I forgot to switch you guys over to code. You can't see a thing I'm working on. Gotta remember to do that. So the way I set it up, it's going to default to bounding box if it's not a configured mesh. Because so many of these are really high detail. This will work better for Synthi stuff. But the bounding box should work. All right. Medieval building masonry lower 2x2. Don't want to use grid snapping. Bounding box. Now we have the one drop point. Still showing the mesh, which it shouldn't. But I haven't set up this one. That shows up in the bounding box. Turned off grid snapping. This one. Yeah, that dropped into place really well. This one. Right. I see. You could use a little adjustment, I think. Maybe it's supposed to look like that, actually. Yeah, it's supposed to look. No, it's not. It definitely needs. Yeah, this only works if your pivot points are relatively consistent too. That's something I found with Astrofish Castle, is the pivot points are not always consistent. All right. So let's find our bases and create a spawner for the base. Stuff in the scene. Create a new test scene to work out of.
Do you make anything in VR?
Yeah. A few streams back, I was building a VR bow, like an actual physical VR bow, and I built a little archery range to fire this bow with. So I've done some interesting projects in VR on stream. That one. That one. That one. One.
That was with Oculus?
Yep. Pull up the picture of the bow. It's also in Discord. Somewhere.
I remember seeing the bow image. Thanks.
That's the bow. And the video of that in use is in YouTube somewhere. Wait, I gotta look up how to do the spawner. This is what the real value for this package has been from.
You pull it back?
Yeah, so the sensor that you can see on the bow there is a distance sensor. So the string matches how far I pull back. When I release, it releases. It's pretty awesome. I need to go back and do some more work on that project, but I haven't been working on my bow shooter recently. But yeah, you can see the bow draw back in real time. Move. One of the issues I had was when I released the bow, the thing that detects when the bow is actually ready to release the arrow itself, when it actually snaps.
Like that before for gaming.
Yeah, it was a fun project. When it does hit that snap point, it kind of jiggles your armor. And so aiming is hard. So I need to do a little calibration where it actually reads the placement of the bow before the arrow is released. Gena spawner. We want buildings dynamic. This is what we're trying to reproduce. Seems like a bug to me. This is the Gena Pro header. We're gonna drag out this building here for comparison. We don't want the spawner, we want... Oh, within the spawner. It was an easier one that did this, where it actually chose.
I'm gonna ask you. I feel like it's
The supply that you need? You forgot a supply you need?
don't know. That's why I need to get it put together.
Okay.
Do you have an end goal with your castle stuff or you just like to tinker with Unity?
It's a bit of both. Some of these I just like to build scenes. And then sometimes I'm working on actual projects. It kind of depends on what I'm in the mood for at any given time. I know there's a way to set up a spawner with a chooser. It's basically a random chooser for a particular layer. Masking rules. That's why this is easier when I'm reversing, basically swapping components out. Even decorators, that's what I'm looking for. Decorators.
Do you have a favorite game? Is that why the castle theme or you just like that theme in general?
I'm just a medieval nut. I like a lot of medieval stuff and fantasy, so it's not because there's a game. It's more because there's a lack of the game that I like with some of this stuff. Like there are a lot of games that are close, but I can never find what I want. One child, that's what I'm looking for. Perfect. All right, this is the decorator I was looking for. So that's basically going to choose any one of these. The sun or something. House not have a door? This is a foundation, not a floor level. All right, the foundation, any one of these. I don't think I can use that one because it's too tall. Right. I can offset it.
Night. Catch you another day.
No. They're all different heights too. This really just is not going to work very well. Not how I was hoping it was going to work anyway. Alright, so I guess we'll go with the pre-built houses. That'll work for the scene that we're going to do anyway. Let the chooser choose which house to plop in place. It'll still be semi-dynamic.
YouTube is working for me but not Twitch. I'm here but the YouTube chat is not relaying.
I checked on the YouTube client. I don't know if the YouTube client's actually running. Oh, there it is. I can see YouTube. I don't know why it's not relaying. Could be. Messages are definitely there. Right. Got this decorator. Equal chance of any particular building. Got it these yet. Alright, so we have a house spotter. Or a house. Sorry, word. Decorator. That'll flatten us. Okay, now I just need to figure out how to create spawner. Test terrain. Test this on. Let's add a quick terrain to this scene. Doing this little bumpy terrain that we can see the leveling effects on. Alright, now we need to create the spawner. Create a new palette for these. Hmm? Yeah, I'll build it in about 10 minutes.
No,
Okay.
Oh, I'm doing it.
I didn't.